Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? You can chat.
Yes, we hear you.
So, welcome to this workshop focused on supporting experiential learning in distance education. This is a workshop that belongs to the strand lessons round 2. So I will just introduce the moderator of the workshop, Mr. Raffaele Di Fuccio. Hi, Raffaele. Raffaele is the CEO of Smarted from Italy. During this workshop, 3 speakers will present different best practices of approaches and tools that have emerged in the past years to effectively support distance learning and make it more engaging and experiential. So starting from these practices that will be presented, the workshop wants to open a discussion on what are the different opportunities to boost and integrate the experiential learning education, exploring different paths for different target groups, and of course by promoting new solutions. So I'm here with Sandra Liebender, who is a project consultant at digital education at Stiftung Digitale Chancen, our colleagues from Berlin. Hi, Sandra. Sandra will be the operator of the workshop and will support us with technical issues. And I will be the assistant during the workshop, monitoring the chat. Please write your questions in the chat throughout the workshop. I'm Barbara Quarta, and I work as a Chief Program Officer at All Digital. So the workshop will be recorded, just for you to know. And I'm happy to give the floor to Raffaele.
Hello to all. I'm proud to be here in this great event. And today we created this workshop in order to discuss, to tell about some experiential learning in distance education, because we believe that is a central task, a central issue in this moment. And I'm Raffaele Di Fuccio, and I, as Mrs. Quarta told, I'm the CEO of Smarted, that is a small enterprise, a small company that works in the field of technology enhanced learning. In particular, we work trying to present some solution, to develop some solutions for improve learning approaches. We work a lot with universities. In this case, and we have a history of, we are a spin-off of the University of Naples, and we work a lot with the University of Naples. And today, the other presenters will be are related with this university. I'm going to introduce the main path behind this workshop. The traditional learning, we all know the traditional learning is face-to-face learning at school or at the universities. We have students on classes. In these last years, there are a lot of different applications, different tools that allows to improve or change the traditional learning, the MOOCs, the distance, the e-learning. However, the bulk the main part of the learning was 1 year ago, because before the 2020 was, for the most part, in classroom, and we know that there is it's very important also for university and so on. But we had the COVID-19 pandemic, and something changed, because there was the lockdowns. There was a lot of problem inside the schools, inside the university, and something need to be changed, and really changed, because the needs and how it's changed. It's changed in distance learning. The distance learning was the new entry in our lives, distance learning and smart working, distance working, and all of us experienced it. But in the past, we had a lot of solution to face this possibility, and now we have to understand which are the best for the next future. Also now we are doing a conference online that 1 year ago was scheduled in Berlin, because the situation is complicated, and we are doing this in a good form. We are able to discuss about it, so we are in good direction. Now I can tell that there are two types of learning. One is the most common, the declarative learning, that is the learning related to slides, to book, to face-to-face, the typical learning with the traditional learning. And there is another opportunity, that is the procedural learning. What it means that it's possible to do a learning by experience, by exercise, and the new tools, the new ICT tools, allow a good way to have the procedural learning. And we in this workshop, we investigate and we propose some experience, some best practice in this field, because the solutions are known, are MOOCs. But in this case, we don't speak about MOOC, because MOOCs is something that is new in a certain part, but is not a complete innovation. Here we bring some little innovations, because an opportunity is to have some application for autonomous and adaptive learning. And in this case, we will present two applications from two Erasmus Plus projects, Alias and Eulalia. Another opportunity is also for students, for higher education students. But for children, we need other solutions, and we have tools and opportunities in this field. One of these can be experiential apps for children in a more structured way, and we will present Diligo in this presentation. And finally, another opportunity is the application of the paradigm of tangible user interface. I will present Sniff and the Sugar Fairy. For example, here I have some tangible object. One is this. I have also a fairy. I seem like a fool having a fairy in a conference, but it's the sense is that I want to share with you the experience of tangible user interface. Who are the presenters? I'm the last presenter, Raffaele Di Fuccio, that would present the tangible user interfaces, and Eulalia. He is Francesco Palumbo, full professor of statistics in the University of Naples, Federico II, and is the project manager of Alias project and will present the Alias project. Is Francesco Caputo, that is not with us, but I will do its presentation. Is a researcher in the University of Naples, Federico II, is the project manager of Eulalia project. And finally is Federico Diano, that is a PhD student, and he is working on Diligo, and he will present Diligo. So this is my introduction to the so I give the phone, the word to Francesco Palumbo, that will present the application of Alias, that is one of the best practice of this conference, this workshop.
Okay, can you hear me? Well,
yes.
Thanks to Raffaele for his introduction, and thanks to the organizers of this very interesting event. As Raffaele told, I'm a full professor of statistics at University of Naples, and I'm the honor to lead the Alias project. The project is mainly focused on the learning statistics. I have quite long experience in teaching statistics, but especially in programs, in undergraduate programs that are in the humanities and social and behavioral sciences. This is a very important aspect because statistics is one of the disciplines that is more taught in Italian and in all universities, in medicine, in social science, in psychology, in economics, and so on. So there are a lot of areas where statistics has application, and even more because now we are quickly going through a society in which the data are a very important value, and the statistics allow us to take from this data a lot of information. The difference is very important because those courses where students have to attend the mathematical courses, they will cope with the statistics in a total different way, because they have all the basic mathematical knowledge to learn statistics through the very robust formalization. Whereas in courses where statistics is taught without any mathematical basic, and there are many books start without math, start without fears, so this is a very known aspect. There are some different problems in teaching statistics. So the Alias apps was designed starting from our experience in teaching statistics in such kind of courses, and its aim is not in online courses, as Raffaele told, but was designed as a tool to help our student in learning statistics. Alias is adaptive learning statistics, and is an integrated tool that was designed to be used on mobile phones and mobile devices. Now I try to share my presentation, and Now you should be able to see my screen. Okay, and I switch from to the presentation visualization of PowerPoint. So this the part of my presentation is one half of the introduction of alias, because the functionalities and all the technical aspects will be discussed, presented by Raffaele. So this is the outline of this talk that will take 15 minutes more or less, and I will shortly introduce the project, and we will talk about the preliminary knowledge level assessment. It is a very important aspect in order to know and also to tailor the learning according to the level of our students. Another original aspect is to evaluate the statistical anxiety in our students, and many papers, scientific studies have clearly demonstrated that the statistical anxiety is something very different with respect to mathematical anxiety, and even if mathematical anxiety has much more attention than the statistical anxiety, at least in the past, maybe it's not longer like that. Statistical anxiety has some very peculiarities in the student anxiety. Then the motivation, that's another important aspect of our project, because everybody knows that students must be motivated in order to cope with the difficulties that they can encounter during their study. And then the adaptive engine of our application that should be adaptive according to the students and to the class as a whole. Well, the project is a 30 months project, and it's expected to end at the end of March 2021. Clearly, we had some delays due to the COVID outbreaks, because now we were expected to stay our classes, and of course we have less students available to interact with them, and this implied a modification of our relation, even if, as Raffaele told, maybe in this context, in this new year, this COVID era, a tool like this one could be very useful for the students. And so the idea is to have an open education and innovative practice, inclusive. You can see the keywords have been highlighted, and to develop skill and developing curricula to relevant market and societal needs. Partners that are involved in our project are from different countries, as usual, and the University of Naples, the Department of Political Science, leads the project. And then we have Jacob University from Bremen, Germany, and then SmartRed from Italy, and Raffaele is as a representative of a member of SmartRed, then the University of Valencia, Spain, and the Democritos University of Thrace, Greece. All these partners have different skill and knowledge, experience, but Jacob University and the Democritus University are departments mainly focused on statistics discipline, whereas University of Valencia is a department of psychology. So this created in a very wide area of knowledge. And of course, SmartRed is a spin-off which has a very long experience, long according to their very young life in collaboration with the university and in Erasmus project leading. This is our roadmap, and so now we can say that after the framework analysis and the designing of our learning engine, and now we are more or less at the end of the app development. And so we are almost ready to start with the application on with the real data on the field. This is the aim of the project. Has been already highlighted, and so this slide summarizes the idea, and just to focus again, there are two main points in ALIAS. So the first one is to define different typologies of students according to their ability to learn statistics, and as an answer to this definition, to offer to each typology, not to each student, to offer a path, a learning path that should be adapted. So that's the term adaptive to his or to her learning level. We have also an important aspect in psychological aspect in which we try to motivate our students in doing that with an interaction with the app that will be showed later on in details by Raffaele. So I will skip this part that will be shown later on, and I want to go to the main design of the app and the alias, because alias is not only an app, but is an app and also that can be considered a client, but it also has a server side where all the data are managed, and also all the our statistical models that are behind the identification of the different typologies of students run. Most of the software, the statistical software has been developed using the open R system with some packages that were already available, and in these packages have been used and put together in one engine for the data management. So the first part is when we designed the alias, our first concern was to evaluate how to evaluate the anxiety of the students, because some students have difficulties in learning statistics and also mathematics in cases because they very high level of anxiety. And if we were able to reduce this level of anxiety, the approach to the discipline became easier, and these students can recover a gap, and in many cases they will be able to have very good results in learning statistics. So the first part consists in analyzing the anxiety with the psychometrics tools, and we considered all the available tools, and then we decided to use one of the most used tools, that is the SAS Statistical Anxiety Scale, which has been validated in all the languages that are used in this project, but also in many other languages. this is a very a picture that summarizes the source of the statistics anxieties and the effects and that this anxiety may have on the students. So the worst and the most relevant for a faculty for a course is that normally they tend to postpone the statistics at the end of the enrollment, and so this is bad for them for several reasons that can be easily imagined. The other aspect is the motivation is very important because to recover this, to cope with this anxiety, students must be motivated, and so the idea is to show them that statistics as is a tool that is very useful in many problems of the disciplines, and this is done in two different ways. In particular, we have some cartoons and comics, and we also have imagined a mascot for this that has a role of virtual tutor for our students. This Raffaele will show also one of our video. Our mascot was designed was inspired to the famous statistician, probably can be considered the father of the modern statistics, Ronald Fisher. So this is an inspiration from Fisher, and this mascot appears in several points of the relationship between the application, the app, and the student. The fish, this mascot, is also used to give motivation in terms of enthusiastics when the students have good performance, and moderated enthusiasm when the performance are medium, and concerning concerning when students have some difficulties in getting good results. We have also, at the end of any learning area, the student will receive a sort of final mark, and in case this the learning area was successfully completed, he receive an acknowledgement of that, and the congratulations from our mascot, Ronnie McStudd. Then also the video that will be showed by Raffaele later on, as told, where there are three video cartoons that are focused on three main aspects of in the use of statistics according to what is the syllabus for the introductory courses in basic statistics. The idea of this video, main aim of this video, is to make very easy some concept that can appear difficult of hosting when they are formalized in terms of mathematical formula and other formalism that have bad impact of our student on our student. The alias has very limited learning material because it is not an online course, but is a tool to help our student in doing better in statistics. So we have very short sort of remind of concepts, and for each area we have three different kinds of questions. So we can say that ALIAS is a multidimensional assessment tool, and the three dimensions that we have considered are knowledge and understanding, that will be referred with K, applying knowledge and understanding A, and making judgment. Three dimensions were derived from the Dublin descriptors that are considered the learning dimension that must be considered when a new course is designed. Actually, the Dublin descriptors are 5. We have just considered the first 3 descriptors because the other three imply that there is an interaction between the teacher and the student. So this is an example of the learning material. For example, this is the central limit. Those that are familiar with the statistics know that this is very important results in many, from several points of view. And the whole idea of the central limit theorem is summarized in these very few lines, in these very few figures, formula. And we have decided to have a very rigorous formalism in order to avoid any ambiguities with our students. This is the first part of learning material, and this is the second part. And this is an animated GIF that is very helpful to understand how any distribution tends to the Gaussian distribution when this is the distribution of the sampling mean tends to convert Gaussian distribution as the number of samples increases. Then, once the students can or cannot decide to use this extra material as a help and as a quick reference, but ALIAS assumes that students have textbooks that are those that we have preparing this material. We have considered those textbooks that are more known in the area of human science all around the world. So we have considered tens of universities and analyzed their syllabus in statistics, and then we have decided to refer to those textbooks that are mainly most famous in this area. The methodology is can be summarized in few words, but actually the statistical models that is behind this methodology is more complex, and in this case, for sake of time, we don't have time. We don't go into the details of our methodology, and I will try just to give you a general idea on how the ALIAS engine works. So the main aspect is IRT, is item response theory, and based on a multidimensional model, on IRT model, we are able to classify our students according to their knowledge level. And we evaluate them for each topic that are in each rectangle we have a topic, but the final marker will be assigned for each area. This is a learning area, and the student will be allowed to pass from one area to another area if it has a minimum level of knowledge that can be set by the responsible of the unit. And only if this level is the minimum level is gained, the users can go through the learning path. Of course, as it is a learning, an adaptive system, the score obtained by one student can be a nice score at the beginning, but as the class improves, also this score can be can reduce, because this is the score is evaluated in relation to the remain of each class. And so the student can decide to try to evaluate his or her knowledge level again if he or she is not more satisfied by the new score. And then these three main parts. So the relation between the item of the same area, the item of the different learning area, all this information is managed by a logistic two-parameter model that implies some hypothesis of independence. So we have prepared, we have defined a lot of questions. In some cases, these questions refer to the K area or to the A area that can be generated time to time, because behind the generation of this model there is a system that can allow us to generate the parallel forms of questions. I will not go into the detail of our model, our IRT model, as I told you, for sake of time, and just I go to the my concluding remarks. This is the estimation algorithm. That's the well-known expectation maximization algorithm to get the estimation of our parameters. And after, so to summarize the whole idea, from the motivation, from the anxiety measurement to the motivation and to the score, we have that there is a report to each student that give to these students some indication on the reasons for what they failed in passing from one area to another area. And then, as I told you, we don't have real data, and so the capability of our model to recognize different kinds of students. Now we are studying this ability using some simulated data. So we are simulating some different behavior of our student, and results are very encouraging, and they prove empirically, of course, the proof is empirically proved that the student recognized are properly recognized. At the end, each student receives two different kinds of output, an output, a graphical output using these pictures, and also a more analytic output that can be offered to the student himself or herself, but also for the teacher that can decide how to set the next parameter in the model. So we have also a sort of reporting on the most difficult questions, the less difficult questions, which are the area where students are more difficulties. For example, in this case, we see that the students are very good in answering in knowledge for all the units, but for unit number 4, they are quite good almost everywhere. So knowledge, assessment, application, and judgment. But for example, in unit 1, they have a lot of difficulties. So the average score is very low in answering to these questions. Probably there are some difficulties that depends on the average level of difficulty of our questions, or probably because there is a lack of learning materials that can be integrated. The system is extremely flexible and can be integrated with the new learning material and new questions at any time, and it will be developed in different languages that are those languages, the native languages of the countries involved into the project. So it's Italian, Spanish, German, and English, of course. And so that's all. Thanks to Raffaele, and I'm very sorry if I was longer than I expected.
Raffaele, please switch on your microphone.
Sorry, thank you. You're to
welcome.
Francesco. Thank you for this presentation. Now I will go to present the app very briefly in order to see what is the cover part of what Francesco said, because Francesco explained the model and the engine behind our car, and now I present the car itself. I want to underline that if you want to do questions, you can type on the chat and feel free to do questions. We will reply at the end of the sessions. And I left my email, and I asked to the other speakers to leave their mail. If you want to do in a asynchronous way questions, please feel free to do it. Now I'm going to share my screen to present the app. I hope you see my screen. If I have no information, I believe that the screen is okay.
Yes, the screen is very fine.
Thank you. Okay, here we have the application. Is an Android application. You can download from the Google Play Store. It's named Alias. And the first part is to do demographic questions. I skip this part because obviously I want to show the exercises and so on. However, I have to complete the demographic questions, and I go ahead. After the demographic questions, there is the test, statistical anxiety scale, as Francesco told, and I have to reply to all these questions that are related to the anxiety, to the math. So I am for this question studying for an examination in statistical course, high anxiety, and so on. I go ahead. Okay, we see Ronnie McStat, our mascot, behind, and well done. The SAS test will be repeated sometimes because during the course I will have some other probe, some other test regarding this. Now I have to see my basic math skills. So I have to reply to questions. In this case, I have one of the questions for this. I go to the other, for example. You have some some mathematical question in order to understand the mathematical initial level. I put the right one, is 3:5, okay. When I complete the exercise, I go to exam completed. Now I have only one good question. Yeah, I'm sure to go to correction of the exams, but I leave blank the majority. And you see Ronnie McStat that is not happy because I have provided 0 correct answer. Probably I've put the wrong answer also in the previous case. And I have to fill my gaps, running Mexstat and the app, give the feedback that I have to provide more, I have to study more about mathematics. I can go to the other part. I have some information as slides, as learning material. For example, I have the learning limit theorem, and I have also some dynamic part regarding this, and I can study, I accept the, okay, the cookies, and I am entitled to, I have the possibility to study directly on the app. Are some material that support the study. However, I can see the cartoons. I can see the cartoons to understand some part, to improve my motivation. This is passed and failed, for example, and it starts a video. I don't know. I put on pause it. If you hear the voice regarding this, however, I put the presentation in order to present the video without any voice. Okay, and this is the conversation between the running. I can put the subtitles on. Okay, and you can read the subtitles. You don't see the subtitle. I see on my screen, but there are not. However, here there is a discussion between the Randy Mexstat and his daughter, and she's discussing on passed and failed regarding an exam. It's blocked the video here. I don't know why. Okay, now probably you see.
No, we can see it.
Okay, nothing. It's very okay. Okay. However, is a conversation on YouTube. After I will present in another form very quickly, and there are some cartoons that help support the comprehension of some statistical items. Finally, I present the exercises in statistics. There are some area and some item. You have to start from the beginning because the other are blocked, because you have to complete the first part of the exams, and then you are entitled to go ahead. I start from the first item. Are you ready to answer 30 questions? Yes, I'm ready. And you will see some of these questions. The basic concept of statistical approach, median, average, mode, and so on. You can reply each question. I briefly do in random mode. Okay, you can some questions that have some parallel forms. In this case, are related to application. So is an exercise that you have to do. Have the possibility to write down a number, and the exercise change because the numbers inside the exercise can change. So there are a lot of parallel solutions, like in this case, write your answer. So I have to write my answer. Probably I do by chance, without any logic. I conclude my exam. and at the end, only one correct answer, because I did randomly, and random extat is seconds. So I can go to learning material to how to understand which are my errors, where I did my errors, which are the questions wrong, which are the right question, like this for chance, and explain me why is correct on the wrong. So I can study in distance with a coach. I bring my presentation. You can learn at your home, in subway, in each place you are, and you can try and do exercises on statistics with feedback, with dedicated feedback, and with an adaptive system that helps you to improve your statistical knowledge. And I think is a good way to support distance learning. Now, I change the presenter, because in this case, the presenter should be Vincenzo Caputo, that is not here, and I cover this part. I go through this part, and I will present the video of the presentation of Vincenzo Caputo that sent me. One moment, I take the presentation. Okay, I block my share screen. I reshare my screen using my audio, so you can hear everything. Okay, I start the video, and after the video, I will do a brief tell about Eulalia project, but you will see everything on this presentation. Okay, this is the presentation of Eulalia project. That is an Erasmus Plus project with 6 partners. One is Marted, that is my company that work on technology field of this. One is the University of Naples, that is the leading group of the project. One is a University of Alicante, University University of Malta, University of Poznan in Poland, and the European University Foundation. Our goal in this project is to create an app based on the game-based learning using tangible user interface. During this workshop, I will present some tangible user interface. One of these is this. This is one tangible interface, but I will present in detail what is it. The project is for students, Erasmus students that comes in a new country, so they have to understand, to know the language, but they have to know also the culture of this. So we will create an app that allows using a multi-sensorial approach with tangible user interface and game-based learning to learn the language and the important word of each place. For example, we are in Naples. In Naples is very traditional the lemon of Sorrento. So we will have exercises where the student will have the possibility to smell directly lemon in this form. I will explain in my last presentation. And using the mobile phone, he or she will have the possibility to learn some strategic words in cultural mindset in a certain way. And there will be an interaction between virtual and real dimension. So we will have tangible object and virtual approach. So the idea is to create a bridge between virtual and tangible. Why is important for distance learning? Because I can do the same at home. If I have some object and I use the object and I put the technology that is NFC technology, near field communication, I can learn the exercises done by the lecturers, by the teachers that are using the language. However, we have left 30 minutes, so I ask to Federico Diano to present Diligo, that is another application for distance learning with app, but for children age, for children. So I leave the word to Federico. I close my presentation, and please, Federico. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So good morning again. I'm Federico Diano. I'm a PhD student at the University of Naples, and I will show you some information. I will tell you about Diligo 2.0. I will share my screen now. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Diligo 2.0 is a game to assess geometric and emotional competences in preschoolers. But where we started from? We started from the knowledge that the children's transition from kindergarten to the primary school is a very complex and long process, which has a consistent impact on the future development of the child and the academic success and personality configuration. And one key point is the concept of school readiness, which is a set of skills through which children become able to learn in school and include both pre-academic skills of literacy, communication, mathematics, and several soft skills such as emotional soft skills and social skills. And in 2012, the Italian Ministry of Education recognized those skills and competences as essential achievements for 6 years olds, and they are included in the national guidelines for kindergarten. So what is DILIGO 2.0? It is a normative and ipsative monitoring tool, and later we'll discuss this point. And it aims at assessing in 5 years old children 2 of the skills that are part of the school readiness concept, which are the emotional competences and the geometric and numerical thinking competences. DILIGO 2.0 also evaluates the behavioral and psychological attitude to engage in slow or fast thinking activities. So, talking about the emotional competences, we included in this concept the awareness of emotions, the emotional vocabulary, comprehension of facial expressions and emotional context, the knowledge of expression which are related to cultural rules, and the regulation, of course, and management of emotions. The geometric and numerical thinking concept, we included the knowledge of the geometrical figures, such as squares, circles, triangles, and very basic geometrical figures, which you can see also in the 2 images of the horse and the small duck, the yellow duck on the bottom. The second concept is the acquisition of big and small concepts, the recognition of number representations, the spatial concepts of in and out and up and down, and finally the temporal order in terms of before and after and the spatial directions of left and right. The other feature we evaluate in DILIGO 2.0 is the slow and fast thinking behavioral attitude, which is the based on the Kahneman's theory of thinking systems. So we have a system 1, which is fast, automatic, unconscious, and emotional, and a system 2, which is slow, logical, and conscious and thoughtful. And DILIGO tries to evaluate which is the behavioral and psychological attitude of the children, which they use to answer and to engage with the test containing DILIGO. So, how DILIGO 2.0 works? It is a serious game and is developed on the STEalth platform, which stands for Smart Technologies to Enhance Learning and Teaching, which is based on an agent-based model, and we'll see it later on. And it will be an app developed for Android devices. So it's a mobile app that can be used in a mobile setting. And as we said before, the assessment can be both normative and ipsative. When normative, it is based on inter-individual comparisons. So we can have analytics about how, for example, different children in a class compare to each other in the development of cognitive and social skills. And when ipsative, DILIGO becomes an inter-individual assessment tool and is useful to highlight personal strengths and weakness in a single child. And we can trace his or her dynamic developmental profile. Another aspect which is very important in DILIGO is that it is based on narration. Narratives are a pervasive feature of human cultural products, and they are frequently naturally used to pass experiences to children and to introduce more complex concepts through stories and dialogues between each others. So we use this narrative approach to introduce the test, which DILIGO 2.0 is made of, to the children. And as we already said, adults use naturally stories and a narrative approach to introduce complex concepts to children. As the child accesses into the test section of the app page, so to a narrative framework and its main charter, which is Leo the Explorer. The child is so actively involved to help Leo facing several tests which take place in different stages, and each of these stages have a different setting, which is based on islands. Every test is a question Leo the Explorer asks to the child, and the child can answer simply touching specific graphic elements on the device display, so it's a very simple and direct interaction. The game is structured in 8 different sections. Each section is located, as we said before, on a different island, where the child has to solve different kind of tests based on specific components related to that island. So we'll have an app for the geometrical features and another for the emotional competencies. Each of the apps have 8 different islands for 8 different competencies. The child has the opportunity to select a fast or slow mode for each section, so for each of the 8 islands. And the difference between the slow mode and the fast one is a major presence of narrative introductions to each test in the slow mode. So the slow mode offers a more narrative experience, merging the test with simple storyline that engages the child into the narrative context of each stage. For example, the explorer can ask to solve small problems, to take a choice about some elements of the surroundings where the narrative is located, and about different aspects of the setting of the test. The fast mode is a sequence of tests where the child is encouraged by Leo the Explorer to give fast answers, and it is more a point-and-click setting. So Diligo 2.0 has been built upon an agent-based model approach, where the first agent is the user, of course, who plays all the tests, trying to help the main character of the game. And the second agent is Leo the Explorer, an artificial agent which guides the user during the game and gives instructions and feedbacks as well. This is an example of the test of the geometrical version of Diligo. And in this section, Leo the Explorer asks the child to find any difference between these two similar representations of a cat. As shown, the cat's bodies are made up by basic geometrical shapes, as I told you before. And in this example, Leo's question would be, can you tell me if their tails have the same shape? And the child has to answer by simply clicking yes or no button to express his answer. The game path is predetermined to ensure the test validity and not to affect the assessment, of course. And at the end of the game, a brief report is available with assessment of all the skills and competences evaluated during the test. So it's different on which version of Diligo we are on. The scoring is the same for slow and fast mode, and we have 1 point for every correct answer and 0 points for every wrong one. To create an initiative profile of a child, when the child starts the game, a new game session, the Explorer can recognize if the player has already played the game, and the supervisor, which can be a teacher for example, can choose to repeat the same old items or get new alternative ones. So, going to the conclusions, by providing both a normative and ipsative assessment, Diligo 2.0 can represent a tool with a great potential to promote a more sensitive awareness about each child's specific educational needs, while keeping an eye also on the class development and to have analytics of and comparisons between different children which compose the group class, and gives the teacher the possibility to adjust its educational path along the way. In the future, the app could also be used as a training tool to help children improve these skills, providing them an entertaining learning experience through a narrative and agent-based model approach. So later on, teachers and parents could be also able to monitor constantly the improvements of the children as parents and as well as teachers, showing different analytics and informations about group class for the teacher, obviously, and to the single child for his or her parents. So thanks for your attention, and this was Diligo 2.0. Thank you.
Thank you, Federico. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I kindly ask all of you, if you want, if you have questions, to write down. I see two questions from Francesca Flaccavento, and I see that I cannot open the Euleli app. Euleli app is in prototypal phase of implementation. So in this case, we put the very first prototype, so it's not useful because the project is started by 1 year, and now we are starting the developmental phase. So we did only a digital case, so you can download, obviously, but now there are bugs. We are continue to improve. Regarding alias, yes, because it is taught as an application that you do for learning needs. So you have to put in front of the test, and you have to do every part of the mathematical test. However, to skip this problem, you have to reinstall the app, or to cancel your data in your phone. Regarding alias, you have to go to the alias app. Our model of development of this app is done that you have to do only one time this mathematical test, this math test, skill test at the beginning. So you have to complete everything. I understand that you want to try the app, and you want to go ahead, but if you want to skip, my advice is to uninstall and reinstall the app. Okay, I go through the. Okay, Barbara, I see you. Barbara, perhaps she wants to say something. Okay, no.
No, please go on, Raffaele. We have 10 minutes to close the workshop. Please go on.
Yeah, I will go very briefly regarding the last point of the presentation, that is SNIF. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and I will go very quick to present some part of this. I've spoken about I spoke about tangible user interface. What are tangible user interface? I will present the problem. I will introduce the framework. I will present the presentation, the application. I will go through a demo. I go very quickly for this. However, the problem is that the tablets are very common for children in our ages, and the children use very commonly the tablets. This success is due to an ergonomic cognitive principle, because are prostheses of our mind-body system. But in the past, there are a lot of prostheses, glasses, pens, books are all prostheses. tablet it's another prosthesis. However, something is changing. I present this video that is very useful. I share also my audio, so I close my share. I reshare my. Oh, sorry for this because I forgot to include my audio. So let's see this presentation, this video. Okay, here you can see that this little girl has problem with the paper, because the paper is something that is not common for a child. The tablet is common. They are able to manage all the part of the tablet. And there is a lot of entertainment. There are some lights and so on. But the paper seems useless, because I have the habit to do some manipulation, but it's not useful. Now there is something in addition. Our lives are going more behind the screens, and for kindergartens, primary school and primary school in the first year, it's very complicated to do learning and distance learning. How to solve this problem? Because it's something that is important for children 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago are not able to read and write, and it's complicated to do distance learning. How to solve this? However, the tablet some approach, some good approach, but are not the right tool to learn. I can do some handcraft together with the teachers, but I cannot have a real learning in a complex way. How to manage this? A possibility is start from the Montessori pedagogy that use the real tangible object. But now the question is how to manage the tangible object in distance learning, and the teacher is able to check what is happening to control the situation. How to do this? Using the framework that we propose. We want to bridge digital and the tangible world in a certain way. So we propose an hybrid approach. The traditional approach has a task, a game, a virtualization of this game and the user. In this approach, we apply, instead of virtualization, the tangible user interfaces. And what are some objects like this that are able to drive to use a graphical user interfaces. So with this, I will apply some changes, this is my the object that is useful to change the state of the digital interface. I want to underline that a tangible user interface is the mouse. The mouse is the typical user interface, tangible user interface, because with an object I can change a graphical user interface. So let's see the application. What I need for this, a device that is a tablet, a phone, an RFID board that is an antenna. I will present an antenna, and the real object, the fairy that you see here. Okay, here is the game. I have all the object that you see in the picture, because some of the objects are for the sense of touch, like this lizard with wool skin. This is another lizard with herb skin, because this is the idea is to create an immersive world, an immersive storytelling using the multisensory world, and it can be inclusive and used also by children with special needs. This is a typical lizard, and we have these that are little jars with inside some smells, sense of smells, and also the sense of taste, because here there are some candies, and we can use this object to guide the exercise. We did an immersive storytelling with this, including 10 scenes with the story of a lizard that goes to a sugar fairy and want to change their skin. She did a lot of mistakes, and he have the skin of wool, the skin of herbs, and so on. And you have to find the right object to go ahead to the scenes. You have to, for example, in some points there is find the smell of herbs, because I don't remember, because the lizard is inside the herb, and you have to smell all the jars and to find the right object to go ahead. The story is audio and video to create a complete immersive situation. So let's go to see a demo. I link my screen, my other screen. Okay, I hope it is connected. Is it under connection? Okay, you can see the initial part of the story. In order to start the story, I don't know if you see my picture, because I want to see also the setting. I don't see, I think, yes, you see my screen, and I change my background so you can see everything. Okay, now see the real background.
Raffaele, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
We are running out of time, and we have a workshop afterwards. So I really have to interrupt you. I don't know if you just want to close in a few seconds. I'm really sorry for that. And then I have to announce the next rounds of workshops. Okay.
Thank you all to the presence here and your to listen this workshop. Here we present some best practice. However, I cannot present the storytelling, immersive storytelling. However, if you want some information about this, you can write me on mail. You can contact also Francesco Palumbo regarding alias, and Diligo. You can contact Federico Diano, that will leave the mail in the chat. And thank you for your attention. Please be free to ask everything you want. regarding this tool. Also to have brainstorming, because are something that is in development and we are trying to creating in this space. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to all the organization of All Digital. Thank you of Barbara Guarta that help us in this, and Sandra Liebtner in helping us, Francesco Palumbo for the presentation of Alias, and Federico Diano for the presentation of Diligo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raffaele, and sorry again for just interrupting you. And thank you again to all the speakers and to all the attendees. Now we have the round 3 of workshops, so I invite everyone to go back to the All Digital main hall, where you can find the links to the different workshops that are going to start in few minutes at 11:40. Thank you very much again, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of the summit. Bye. Bye-bye.